Well, good morning, folks. It is time for Sunday morning coffee. Wow, what a wild week. Jeremy and I spent, I think we wound up driving around almost 300 miles to gather up everything we were supposed to have this week. And that is very not indicative of what I do or what I'm about. I try not to drive around a whole lot. It was a good week. Last week was a better week. I don't know what the hell happened in winter. It's, street riders making fun of me because I'm here in Iowa getting pounded by snow. We had a lot of snow this week. And Kenny, it's good to see you're home, catching up on videos. I lied to you last week. I didn't mention you in the SMC. But this week was a very busy week nonetheless. I can't express enough. Jeremy's become my right hand. He's worked for us for a couple months now. I think we're coming into the third month he's worked for me, this leg. He worked for me almost 4 years when I was doing construction. He was the last guy I had on the payroll. He shut the lights out. We were done. That was it. Construction company died. But that was a couple years ago too. 2008. We finally caught back up with each other. He hated where he was working. He took a pay hit. To come work for me. I think it's paying off. We're not wealthy bastards by any means, but we're doing pretty good now. We're moving up in the world. And he's moving up quick. Speaking of help and helpers, what the hell's wrong with people these days, man? My shop, I've got the simple principle. I've had folks stop by, I just want to learn, I want to check it out, I want to see. Well, I put it out there to a couple guys. I've had probably 3 people go, man, I'd love to work in your shop and learn while I get paid. Well, I don't teach people to learn. There was a little while last year. It was last year about this time. I had a couple people helping out. One of them, a very good friend of mine, still a very good friend of mine. He's just a super guy, and he's good help. But he doesn't, he knows cars. I think I could cut him loose. He's got some physical impairments that hold him back a few things, but he doesn't let that really slow him down. Which is testimony right there. If you want it, go get it. But the point of the story is I had several people helping out, and the mantra around the shop is you work, you get paid. With that exception being, I have had people come up, well, I'd love to get paid to learn. Well, here's a problem with that. You can get very enthusiastic, helpful, sometimes knowledgeable people. I have learned in life most people are what I'd like to call bottle rockets. They're hard out the gate, and then one day they just pop. And there's none left. They leave, they just pooter out, you got to get rid of them, whatever. The slow and steady guys, the guys that just stroll out the gate, and that would be Jeremy. Jeremy and I have worked together very well in the past. We don't, even when we've got deadlines, right there on top of us, beating us up, we do not get in that fevered pitch where we're running or scrambling. But like I was saying, in the past I had help, And in a 10-hour work day, I could have done by myself in 5 hours what got done. You get a couple guys in that small little shop in there, small little, that big garage really is what it amounts to. All I'm doing is troubleshooting all day. I'm not doing any actual work, which puts us further behind. So that's kind of my statement of, yes, everybody works, everybody gets paid. However, I'm done trying to pay people to learn. That usually gets rid of most of them right there that want to come in and learn something. Because I'll happily teach somebody. I'll teach, if I get one person that comes up to me and says, I want to learn this. I'm not going to pay you to restore a car. I'm not going to pay anybody else to restore a car, but I want to learn. Alright, cool. It's really simple. You come work in the shop, I'll teach you. I'll take the time to teach you, but if you're coming to the table with zero skills, I'm not paying for that. Maybe I'm a prick because of that, but at the end of the day, I've saved myself a lot of heartache because I could have had 4 or 5 people in and out of the shop. Last week, I had 4 different bodies were supposed to come out and give me a hand. I just had menial tasks to do, just like spot labor, right? Tuesday I was a little worried. God, what if 3 of them show up? What if all 4 show up? What am I going to do with 6 people running around the shop? Because it was snowing outside. We weren't going outside for nothing. Well, if a couple of them show up, I'm golden. If 3 show up, I'm stressing. Nobody showed up. One person, my good friend, one person, he's like, I got tied up with stuff at home, man. I'm sorry. I'm not going to make it. I'll try to make it later. I'll be there. I'll be bells on. I'll try to make it later. So I know my brother Lundvar he was out. I already knew that when he talks about trying to get there. But another one, I told him to show up. It was a neighbor fella. He just moved in with folks, my neighbor folks, getting back on his feet. I said, cool, show up Wednesday. Show up in the afternoon. I got work to do. Pays on Friday. I got enough menial tasks. I just don't understand what the fuck is going on with people. People just don't want to work. I don't feel all lonely and shit because Jeremy and I both are out there busting ass. We're kicking ass and doing it. Jeremy's gets all, well, we're trying to get away from you having to work on Saturdays or come back out after the shop closes till 10, 11 o'clock, midnight. I'm like, Jeremy, that's part of my gig right now. And I dig that. I mean, Jeremy's that guy, he's that one guy that everybody needs. Fuck, if Pete had a Jeremy, he'd rule all of Dallas by now. I'm comfortable and confident to say that. All you need is that one good right hand, and you can get a hell of a lot further, a hell of a lot faster. Jeremy and I work our standard day is 7 hours on the clock. We get done more than a lot of 3-man crews will do in 8 hours, 24-man hours. We do in 14. So, that really bothers me. A lot of y'all saw the Ford Ranger Splash. We got the parts. We were able to pick up the parts Friday. We weren't able to make it out there. Monday we went and got the parts. Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday was a lot of running around. Tuesday, Wednesday we were dealing with this new customer's car. We had a Subaru and we had to put a new front end on. There was really nothing to show there. It was a very straightforward gig, so I didn't bother rolling footage. And then Thursday, Friday, we did nothing but work on the Ranger for the most part. Talk about losing your damn mind. You know, Friday night, I was ready to, I even had on footage, I'm going to roll straight through. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting this damn thing painted. I ended up having to use high build primer, which you're supposed to anyhow. I tried cutting a corner. That's what it boils down to. I tried cutting a corner. So I slowed down, remembered some patience in the matter, did it right, and moved forward. That paid off. We put metal flake in the paint. I pulled the little filter out of my gun that I was using. That metal flake is so small I can shoot it through a 1.4 nozzle, no problem. I tried my damnedest to bury that in the clear coat. And I bet I got 60 or 80% of it actually buried in the clear coat, where I could just buff the surface and be done. Well, there's also the big, broad, flat surfaces, the hood and the roof, that the clear coat flowed out even better. It's all covered up. All the metal flake's covered up now by a big, thick envelope of clear. So we're going to knock that down where it's smooth and re-clear it. Whatever. I ain't mad at it. Again, that's part of patience. It's really what you're supposed to do. At least most folks I deal with that tell me how, and most all the few times I've done flake, how it has to be done. You put the 2 coats on, you let it set up, sand it out, do it again. I'm still stuck up on this weather and helpers. I just can't get myself past that. It is like 40 degrees out today, right now. It's only supposed to get up to maybe 60 outside. You know, it's April in Iowa. Last year this time, we were in the 80s consistently. I didn't have to fire up the wood stove. I hate my house off a wood stove. We have a furnace, of course, but I prefer the wood stove. I run on LP out here, and it's expensive. I don't know. I don't really have anything to complain about. I'm behind on projects. I haven't got started on projects I was supposed to a long time ago. I've run straight up out of room. But we still got to revolve capital. We still got to move cash flow. So, I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to grind on. My restos always take longer because it's big paychecks, and I got to make sure there's money in between those big paychecks. We get the plate clear. There's 10 cars sitting out there right now. By the end of this week, I want to have that down to like 5. I want to get rid of everything new that's out there and have just the old shit that we're doing real work on. We'll see. You know, by the end of April, we'll have that area cleared out, and basically we'll be back above board where we're dealing with the proper schedule of where we were supposed to be, where we should be, and I won't feel so stressed about stuff sitting there because it won't be. I'm itching to get some of this really cool footage up for you folks and do some of this really cool work. I did get a planishing hammer and that's gonna bring a whole new angle to what we're dealing with. I had brought to me on basically a semi-permanent loan a big Lincoln 350 or I don't know, big 220 MIG welder. It's got like 0.42 wire in it right now. A bit more than I need. My miller I'm going to keep around because it's a little 110 job. It's great for sheet metal body work, all those things. I called my welding supply store. I ordered up a big tank for this Lincoln this pickup accessory thing. I'm going to sit down with Kent here soon. We're going to shoot you kind of a promo video for this thing. It's a pretty cool little gadget he invented. And I needed a 220 welder for that. And the guy that brought that over is the guy that owns that Purple Ranger. And basically we're going to take out and trade. I'll own that. You know, barter's beautiful, man. I'll own that Lincoln free and clear here before the end of the month. And I couldn't have, I wasn't going to do that till much later. It just is. You know, I've got a lot of work around the house and yard and shop, a lot of equipment I picked up that way, and I work a lot off of barter. Lawn care guy, same thing, it's all going to be barter. Got a mechanic, going to do some of the mechanical aspects so I can stay in the shop doing body and paint for me, and I aim to keep him as busy as I can. Seems like a fair enough guy. We'll see how things work out. He hasn't proved anything left or right to me. Paint up some motorcycle parts for him. He's going to finish up the RV that's been haunting me since I've lived here. Story in that RV is simply this, and it's a pathetic story on my part, I reckon, but it came in to my old shop from a good friend of mine. I wasn't really in a position to take it into the shop. I had pulled in someone more or less as a partner at that time, and he saw the way things were going. I saw the way things were going. I wasn't long for that shop. My existence was a wreck. This is over 3 years. This is 3 years? Yeah, about that right now. And at least 2 years, whatever. And I got myself in trouble. Wasn't able to make it down to the shop like I needed. I wound up just pulling my personal effects out of there. Toolbox, welding gear. I had a bunch of my personal things stored in the basement of the shop under the office. And then I moved here. So I had the RV pulled over here so I could do the job I was supposed to do. I bid it way too low because it's a friend of mine. Folks, do yourself a favor. Don't bid your friends' projects way too low. Here's why. You got to make money, you got to survive, you got to live, you got to eat. You bid the projects low, you go, oh, well, there's only a few $100 in that, we'll push it back. We'll push it back. Well, okay, so it got pushed around. Finally, it would have been almost a year to date when we got to do the work we were supposed to. It was just supposed to be a head job. Pulled the head off of it. The pistons were destroyed. Alright, so we'll pull the motor. I find a motor. Now, I bid it too low. Now I'm pulling the motor instead of a head job. The additional charges were less than the cost of the motor. Again, a buddy job, right? Trying to help out. I didn't help anybody out in this matter. This matter did not help a soul out. It made things worse all across and put strain on a friendship. So now it sits. Engine's in it, runs great. It needs just buttoned up. Antifreeze, oil check, transmission check, timing light, few nuts, bolts, pissant things here and there. Make sure the belts are on right. It's really right there. Put the front grille together, headlights in, basic stuff. So I guess if you take anything from today's Sunday morning coffee is do your friends a favor, don't do them favors. At least not deep cut favors. I cut my head off for, that job for me. If somebody brought that to me and I was still doing service work, that job would have been a $3,000 job. Pretty easy. Because you got to take apart the whole front section. We had to have a good used engine. We had to work outside because I didn't have anywhere I could pull it into. it just, yeah, it would have been probably in the realm of $3,000 for that work. And any reasonable person would have went somewhere else, because that's what it would cost here to do it and get it where it needs to be. Yeah. So I pretty much stopped doing friends favors because it never works out. Anyhow, on the bright side, things are picking up. Jeremy's kicking ass. We're doing good. Sunday's here. I'm relaxing for a while. I'm going to zoom out to the shop for a bit and work on this motorcycle thing that's got to go out. It was supposed to go out weeks ago. Well, when you're fabricating something from scratch and you don't have a clear picture of what they want, it's a little sketchy on timeline, and timelines blur. If I had mechanical drawings, photographed pictures of exactly what it was supposed to be, I just spent a week on it and had it out. As it turns out, all we had was an idea that wasn't able to be articulated in an appropriate fashion. So I poked around in the dark with a lot of different shit until finally, now I know exactly what I'm building. So I'm going to try to get some of that stitched together and basically ready to go. It's a Harley Davidson, so everybody's like, well, plastic cracks out. You can't use plastic body filler. Alright, fuck it. So what if I use lead? So I'm going to go ahead and talk to the owner about it. He wants to use lead. He's going to throw a quickie paint job on it for a season, see if it has any issues like plastic does, and then probably go for the gusto, and I'm going to try not to be his painter. Not because I don't like the guy. I think he's a swell dude, not this, that, or other, but I try to focus my efforts, my services, in a pinpoint for individuals. It makes things less complicated. Past all that, folks, have a great day. Here we are in gosh, it's May. I know I said April earlier, but it's May already. Things are looking up. Skies are lightening up again. Monday it's supposed to be decent weather. You guys have a great day with your families and relax. Talk to you soon.